This is the mighty European bison, the largest land mammal on the continent, and it's now back in the UK. So this year, on the 18th of July, shortly after 7 AM, 3 females stepped foot onto Kentish soil as part of a project that will demonstrate the benefits the bison can bring to an ecosystem. And it's this pioneering project at Rewilding which we will look at in detail, but not before understanding their ecology and their tragic history, which saw them extinct from the wild during the 1920s. And I'm here in Kent at Rewilding to tell you all about the project and who knows, maybe even catch a glimpse of the bison through the trees. But first, if you're new here, my name is Rob and this is Leave Curious, where we create content about rewilding here in Britain. So if that sounds like something you're into, be sure to subscribe. The European bison is an ecosystem engineer, which means their presence and actions greatly alters the ecosystem where they are found. I mean, I'd be surprised if they didn't, given the sheer size of them. 3 meters long, 2 meters tall, and around 600 kilograms. To maintain this size, they graze grasses, they browse trees, shrubs, stripping bark off trees. An adult male can eat a whopping 32 kilograms of vegetation a day during summer. And yes, they are strictly herbivores. It would be kind of terrifying if they did eat meat. But European bison also have some interesting habits. Wallowing is one, which is basically rolling around in the dirt. They create clearings through dense undergrowth, sometimes knocking down entire trees as they rub their enormous bodies against them. This may seem like chaos, like damage. However, this is biodiversity rocket fuel. This level of disturbance creates numerous opportunities for life to flourish. New plants can grow in a clearing. A woodpecker can nest in a decaying bark strip tree. Insects can make themselves at home in a huge pile of bison dung. Seeds can be dispersed in that dung. Structural diversity being created from the ground up, and it's all of these impacts that get us so excited about the Bison project here in the UK. But before we get into the project, I just want to touch briefly on their history. It's important to know that the European bison nearly didn't make it, being declared extinct from the wild by 1927 due to sustained pressures and persecution from man, which was ramified during the First World War as German soldiers shot and killed 600 bison, leaving only 9 left in one of the 2 very small and remaining isolated populations. Eventually there were only 50 bison left in zoos, and it was only the work from breeding programs and then a release of 2 bison in 1952 to forests of Poland that ensured they didn't go completely extinct. Let's get into the project here in the UK. It's being run by the Kent Wildlife Trust and the Wildwood Trust, getting a donation of over £1 million from the Postcode Dream Fund back in July 2020. This was a huge step which enabled the project to really get going. So the bison have been released to the county of Kent in the southeast of the UK. They're in an ancient woodland located in West Blean and Thorndon Woods. So 3 bison have been reintroduced, a matriarch from the Highland Wildlife Park in Scotland and 2 younger females from Fota Wildlife Park in Cork. A male will be joining them very soon. One of the key drivers in starting the project is to increase biodiversity, but also to show that the resulting habitat the bison create is one that can sequester and store more carbon, have healthier soils, richer plant life and better nutrient cycling compared to current UK woodland systems. They also want to create a safe place for the public to come and experience nature. But crucially, it's about setting an example, documenting, monitoring and showcasing these positive impacts so that one day we'll see more bison across the UK. While walking through the woods, I started to think, how would I feel if I stumbled across them? I'd definitely be excited, but would I feel threatened or in danger? Let me know how you would feel having bison in your local woods. The bison are being kept within a controlled fenced area. However, the aim is to just leave them to it and observe. They're being tracked in real time using GPS collars. There are 2 bison rangers, Don and Tom, who work closely with the bison. But since the conception of the project, now and as it continues on, there has been numerous others from the Wildlife Trust, Wildwood Trust and various partners. Canterbury Christ Church University, the Natural History Museum and the University of Huddersfield, to name just a few. The work includes storing and analysing soil samples, pond and dung monitoring, as well as the gut health of the bison. So of course, a key element to the overall success of this project is monitoring. Before the bison were introduced, baseline data was taken, understanding what wildlife is present, what the vegetation and soil look like. Woodland vegetation and extents have been captured with a drone. It's equipped with 2 sensors that enable not only a 3-dimensional image to be established of the woodland, but also one that detects specific specific wavelengths of colour, enabling information on vegetation colour, abundance and soil types, to name only a few. This extensive monitoring is being applied to 3 areas of woodland, with each experiencing a different level of disturbance from grazers. One area will have the bison, who will soon be joined by Exmoor ponies and Iron Age pigs. The second area will have longhorn cattle with the pigs and ponies, and the third will have no grazing animals at all. The work so far has revealed some sighting discoveries, from nightingales in the trees to over 178 different species of spider, some critically rare and not seen for many years. Getting the animal as big as a bison widespread will take a lot of work to educate and prepare, but this project looks like a great first step. Over on Patreon, I'm working on a new video series that's all about getting you involved with rewilding, exploring how to make use of your space, whether if you have an apartment balcony, a suburban garden, or a farm in the countryside. Also looking at the many other ways to connect with nature through career paths, volunteering, education, and projects you can start. Links to this is on the screen now, but in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Leave curious.